Hello to all dear students. Today we will try to understand another topic of clinical pharmacokinetics, that is pharmacokinetic compartment models. Now suppose this is your gastrointestinal tract. This is a blood vessel and these are various organs. Now once we consume any drug, first it will enter in the blood and then from blood it will get distributed to various organs of our body. So blood is our central compartment and various other organs will now become a peripheral compartment. Now suppose we consume any drug orally, then few drug will get lost because of the first pass metabolism. But if we take a drug via intravenous route, then obviously 100% of the drug will be moving to our central compartment, that is our blood circulation. Now drug will get distributed to various organs depending upon the blood flow to the organ. Like few organs are highly perfused organ, like our liver is there, lungs is there, but few organs are very poorly perfused, like muscle or adipose tissue. Plus distribution also depends upon the affinity of the drug towards a particular organ. Different organ have different capability to take the drug. Like for example liver have got maximum blood circulation, so obviously most of the drug will be moving to the liver to the max. Now once distribution has been completed, distribution is followed by metabolism. Yes, metabolism occurs in various organs and after metabolism the drug will get eliminated out. So for elimination the drug should again move back into the central compartment. See, every drug have its own affinity. Few drugs get eliminated out easily and few will eliminate out a bit late. Some get distributed early and some get distributed a bit late. Some will get absorbed very easily very early and some drugs absorption will be a bit late. Next, drug will be moving in the body and we are observing these pharmacokinetic models. We will check the absorption, distribution, metabolism, elimination, half-life, order of reaction, and we will check in how much time the concentration of the drug in the body is decreasing. So basically we are doing quantitative assessment of a drug. So we will check out how much the quantity of drug in how much time it is changing in our body. See, because different organ have different capability, even different drugs have got different capability. Similarly, for different organ we have got different mathematical equations by which we can calculate the unknown parameter. Like suppose for example we have got a situation where the dose of the drug is given, the distribution is given, the half-life is given, but we need to calculate the rate of elimination. So we will use all these known parameters and we will put them in such an equation that we will get the rate of elimination. So this is the way. Suppose we want to check the volume of distribution in liver, then we have to check how much blood is moving in the liver, how much amount of drug the liver can accommodate, what is the size of liver. So for different organ we have got different parameters. Even it also depends upon the physiological state and even pathological conditions also. See, physiology is different for different individual. So we will check the absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion, and all these pharmacokinetic parameters changes the drug concentration, and so accordingly we should put it in some particular mathematical equation to find out some unknown parameters. Okay, so basically we are doing the quantitative assessment by which we can get the unknown parameter, and we are getting the unknown parameter from the known parameters as such. Next, so what is a model? A model, it is a hypothetical and mathematical terms that describe the quantitative relationships between a drug movement in the body and various pharmacokinetic parameters. Okay, see here in the first line only it is saying it is a hypothesis. Okay, so this pharmacokinetic model, it is a hypothesis and not a law. So it may be accurately perfect for one patient in one condition and may not be working in other patient in the same condition. Okay, so our pharmacokinetics, the absorption of drug, distribution, metabolism, it changes from person to person. Okay, so therefore we cannot say this pharmacokinetic model as a law. Okay, therefore it is a kind of hypothesis. Okay, and what we are doing over here, we are producing some quantitative relationship between the drug movement in the body and various pharmacokinetic parameters. Fine. So a model uses mathematical equations that expresses the quantitative changes occurring by the drug within the body. Now next we will see some kind of uses of pharmacokinetic compartment models. The uses goes like this. It is used to predict the amount of drug in the blood plasma, tissue and urine with any dosage regimen. Next, used to calculate optimum dose related for each patient individually, because here we are assessing the individual condition. What is the absorption in this particular person, what is the distribution, what is the metabolism, what is the elimination. So these all pharmacokinetic parameters changes from individual to individual. So depending upon that, by getting all this data, we can calculate the optimum dose regimen for individual patients. Next, it is used to calculate possible accumulation of the drug or its metabolism. Okay, for this is also possible. Used to find minimum effective dose and maximum tolerated dose of the drug. It can describe that how a disease or any changes in physiology can change absorption, distribution, metabolism, elimination, half-life or order of reaction of a drug. It also explains the drug interactions. Okay. So next we will see some of the assumptions of compartment model. The first assumption is the body is represented as a series of compartments arranged in series or parallel to each other. See, we are considering a model. Model is nothing but a group of tissues having a similar kind of physiology, have got a similar kind of blood flow. So that is known as a compartment. So we can take an organ or a group of tissue as a compartment, and from one compartment a drug is moving to another compartment. So these compartments may be arranged in a series or may be parallel to one another. Second assumption is the rate of drug movement in between compartment is described by the first order kinetics. Okay, here the drugs are following the first order kinetics. So we are calculating, taken into consideration that the rate of drug movement between one compartment to another compartment is by first order kinetics. Third assumption is rate constant are used to represent rate of entry into and exit from the compartment. Okay, so whenever any drug is entering into your central compartment, suppose first of all the drug is moving first of all to the blood circulation, so we should calculate the rate constant, that is the absorption rate constant, and when the drug is leaving that central compartment, then we should calculate the elimination rate constant. Okay, so every time we are calculating the rate constants over here. And lastly, a statistical analysis of plasma concentration time data is another method used to find out the number of compartments. Okay, so these are the four assumptions of the compartment models. So our body has different systems through which blood supply is different, as well as drug distribution is also different. So they represent different compartments of drugs. See, a compartment is a tissue or a group of tissue having similar blood flow and similar drug affinity. So depending upon this, we have divided compartment as two types. There are two types of compartments. First one is central compartment and second one is the peripheral compartment. See, central compartment means blood moves continuously and therefore drug also distribute faster and more. So this is the central compartment. Whereas peripheral compartment means here blood movement is less, so the blood drug partition is also less. Therefore we have separated the compartments into central and the peripheral compartment. Now suppose this is the compartment number 1, that is the central compartment. So in the central compartment we have blood. So drug can be given via intravenous route or via the oral route. Okay, so drug goes in the blood and it will maintain an equilibrium with it. Okay, next from here if we calculate the elimination, then it will become just a one compartment model. Okay, there's just a single compartment model. So in single compartment model we can check the absorption as well as the elimination, but to this compartment if we have attached another compartment, the compartment number 2 is now known as the peripheral compartment. Okay, compartment number 1 is the central compartment and compartment number 2 will be peripheral compartment. If again third compartment, fourth compartment attached, they will also become the various peripheral compartment. Now to this compartment number 1, if we have attached a peripheral compartment, then obviously the drug will move to the second compartment also. Now the drug moving from first compartment, or you can say from the central compartment to the peripheral compartment, this is known as distribution of the drug. Next, after getting distributed, if this drug wants to get eliminated out, then this drug should again move back to the central compartment, and after moving to the central compartment, from here it will get eliminated out. Okay, so if we consider just one compartment, then we can study just the absorption of the drug and elimination of the drug. But if we consider a multi-compartment model, then here we can consider the absorption of the drug, the distribution of the drug. Next, from the peripheral compartment, if it is moving back to the central compartment, then it is known as metabolism. Obviously in the peripheral compartment, when it is moving to the back to the central compartment, the drug quality won't be the same. Obviously it has undergone metabolism. So not only absorption, distribution, but also metabolism and elimination can be studied when we are taking into consideration of the multi-compartment models. Okay. Next, different compartment models are been available, and these are empirical model, mammillary model, quaternary model and physiological models. So about these models we will check out one by one. So first comes the empirical model. Here in empirical model, the data is simply incorporated and allows the empirical formula to predict the level of drug eliminated over a period of time. So here we just take a data and put it in an empirical formula, just like a mathematical equation, and we can calculate the rate of elimination of a drug. So basically it is a practical model, but the disadvantage or a poor thing about this model is this model do not give any information about other parameters like absorption, distribution, metabolism, half-life and so on and so forth. So why empirical model we can calculate just the rate of elimination of the drug, okay, and no other model or no other pharmacokinetic parameters can be calculated by empirical model. Next comes the mammillary model. This is most commonly used model. So here we have one or more than one compartment that are attached to the central compartment. Here in red color I have made it as a central compartment, and attached to it other compartments may be the peripheral compartment. So the central compartment includes blood, liver, lungs and kidneys, because blood flow in these organs is maximum and continuous, and these areas rapidly equilibrate with the drug and the blood. Okay, and the drug from the central compartment moves to the peripheral compartment, that is composed of different tissues with their own speed depending upon the type of the organ. Now suppose we consider one compartment open model via intravenous route. See, if I have written open model, there might be some closed model also. The open model means when after consuming a drug, the drug is likely to get eliminated, so we call it as open model. Closed model means there is no way for elimination, and you people might be knowing that whenever we are consuming anything, obviously it will get eliminated out. We cannot store the drug in our body, so all the compartment models will be open model by default. Okay, so first if we consider one compartment open model via intravenous route, suppose this is the first compartment. Okay, and when it is given via intravenous route means there is no problem in absorption will be 100%. So we are checking just the elimination. Here K means the elimination rate constant. Now we consider another model, one compartment open model, but here the drug is consumed via oral route. Okay, so this is the compartment. Since it is consumed via oral route means we need to take into consideration Km. Km is the absorption rate constant. Why we need to calculate the absorption rate constant means here the absorption is not 100%. Since the drug is consumed via oral route, there are chances that the few amount of drug will get unused or get wasted because of the first pass metabolism. Next, after absorption there will be K, that is the elimination rate constant. Okay, so in one compartment open model via intravenous route, we need to check just the elimination rate constant. But when we consider one compartment open model, when the drug is consumed via oral route, here we take into consideration two rate constant. First one is the absorption rate constant and another one is the elimination rate constant. Similarly, if we consider two compartment open model and here the drug is consumed via intravenous route, then compartment number 1, this is compartment number 2. Okay, since the drug is given via intravenous route, no requirement of calculating the absorption rate constant. Now from first compartment the drug will be moving to the second compartment and the rate constant over here will be K12. Okay, now the drug from the second compartment, if it requires to get eliminate out, then again it should move to the first compartment. So the rate constant for the movement of the drug from compartment number 2 to compartment number 1, or you can say from the peripheral compartment to the central compartment, is K21. Next, from here after moving to the first compartment, the drug will get eliminated out. So we need to calculate the elimination rate constant. Similarly, two compartment open model when the drug is consumed via oral route. So this is the first compartment. First the drug is moving to the central compartment, so we need to calculate the absorption rate constant. Next, from the central compartment it will be moving to the peripheral compartment, so the rate constant over here is K12. From the peripheral compartment the drug is moving back to the central compartment, the rate constant is K21, and next from the central compartment finally the drug will get eliminated out and the rate constant will be K. Next, we will check out few uses of this mammillary compartment models. First of all, it provides differential equation that describe the changes in drug concentration in each compartment, like how much drug concentration is changing in each compartment, we will get to know. Secondly, it gives us a vision representation of rate processes, like it gives us knowledge of what speed the process is going on, like time required for absorption, time required for distribution, time required for metabolism, and time required for elimination of the drug. Lastly, it shows us that how many pharmacokinetic constants are necessary to describe the process. Like over here, in one compartment open model via intravenous route, just one rate constant need to be calculated. In one compartment open model taken by oral route, two rate constant has to be calculated. In two compartment open model consumed by intravenous route, three rate constants have to be calculated. And lastly, the two compartment open model when it is taken via oral route, 4 rate constant has to be calculated. Now, the amount of drug moving in two compartments or more than two compartments, it cannot be found accurately or very easily because every organ has its own rate of transformation of drug in and out. So, we can reach to certain level of accuracy by first finding out the rate of elimination occurring through the one compartment model and then comparing the data with the two compartment or more than two compartment model with a mathematical equation. So that will evaluate the rate of drug moving through different organs in the peripheral compartments. That's it. So we are just doing comparison over here. Like from the one compartment model, we are just getting the rate of elimination. So that data is we are taking and we are using it in two compartment model. Like in two compartment we know the rate of elimination, so whatever left behind will be the amount of drug distributed. So just we are comparing the data and we are getting the result. Next is the quaternary model. Here in here different compartments are joined together like a train. Like this is the first compartment, so first of all we need to calculate the absorption rate constant. Next, from the central compartment it is moving to the peripheral compartment, and the rate constant over here is K12. Next, from the peripheral compartment, if the drug required to move back to the first compartment, the rate constant will be K21. But from the peripheral compartment, if it is to move to the third compartment, or you can say the cellular compartment, then the rate constant will be K23. And from the cellular compartment, if it requires to move back to the peripheral compartment, then the rate constant will be K32. So in the quaternary means over here mostly distribution phase is studied more and elimination is not taken into account. Therefore the quaternary model is not mostly used experimentally, because here elimination is not considered. Okay, so this is about the quaternary model. Okay, so what we understood till now, in the first model, that is in empirical model, we can get the elimination rate. From the mammillary model, we can get the knowledge about the absorption, distribution, metabolism and elimination. So it is more likely to be used experimentally. In quaternary model, just absorption and distribution we will get to know. So lastly, physiological model. It is also known as blood flow model or perfusion model. So here we will check the distribution of drug depending upon physiology and anatomy of the drug. Here we will see in which organ how much amount of drug is moving in how much time. See, every organ has its own affinity to catch the drug. Every organ can take a specific amount of drug in this specific period of time depending upon its affinity. See, here we will see that how big or small an organ is and how is the blood flow in that particular organ, and depending upon which the drug distribution will be affected. Here also we will check that how fast that drug equilibrate with the blood and the drug. So here basically movement of drug in this model is based on organ blood flow, organ space penetrated by the drug and organ size. Okay, so every organ have got their own capability to take a drug. Few organ will take fast and few will take very slow. So basically we have done grouping of the organs. So we group all the tissues on the basis of similar blood perfusion and then make a similar mathematical equation for each group. Like organs like liver, lungs and kidney, here blood flow is continuous and rapid. Therefore we have an individual mathematical equations described for these organs. Okay, a separate mathematical equation for liver, a separate equation for lung and a separate equation for kidney. Okay, since the blood flow in these organs is very much continuous and rapid, while other organs or tissues with respect to their blood flow and blood drug partition, these are grouped in two other grouping, like rapidly equilibrating tissue abbreviated as RET and second one is SET, that is slow equilibrating tissues. So we have made some groups of organ coming under the RET and few organs coming under the SET. Okay, like heart may come under the group of RET, muscles may come under the group of SET. Okay, so the organs and the tissues that are coming under the group of RET, we have got a separate mathematical equation. And the organs or tissues that are coming under SET, for them also we have got a separate mathematical equations. There are few organs like brain, we have got blood-brain barrier. So not all of the drugs can move to the brain. The movement of or the occurrence of drug to the brain is very much negligible. Okay, and even to the bones. So in brain and bones only negligible amount of drug may enter. So we does not take into consideration about these organs in the model. So with this model as base, drug distribution in entire body can be predicted very easily. Okay, and the physiologic and anatomic parameters of animals can be used to predict the effect of the drug in man. Okay, so we have got few advantages of this model. The very first advantage of physiological model on the rest previous three model is Here no data fitting is required. Like in the previous three models, data were being added to the equation and then we will get the unknown factor. But over here in the physiological matter, in the physiological model, we just check the organ size, organ blood flow, and what is the drug tissue blood ratio. Drug tissue blood ratio means here the ability of the drug to partition between tissue and blood is known as the drug tissue blood ratio. So over here in the physiological model, we will just check the organ size, what is the organ blood flow, and what is the drug tissue blood ratio, and by this we can get the unknown factor. The second advantage is, see, every individual is different. The blood flow, the blood circulation, the organ size in one individual is different in with it of the another individual. So that is taken into consideration in the physiological model, but in the previous models no such consideration were been taken. Apart from differences in the physiology or physiological state, various pathological condition also do matter. Like any person who is suffering from hepatitis, in that case the blood flow or the organ size of that particular person will be different. So all those things are taken into consideration in the physiological model, but no such thing is done in the previous three models. And lastly, the third and the best advantage of this model is we can extrapolate. See, how much drug is moving in different organ is different. Organ biopsy is not an easy task. So what we do is, we just do experiment in animals and then extrapolate it for the human beings. Like we got this much is the absorption of the drug in the liver, or this much amount of drug is getting distributed in the liver in this particular animal. So we will check the size of the liver of that animal and then we can check the size of the liver of the human being and then extrapolate it. Okay, so this much is the value of the distribution in animal and this much is the volume of the human being, and just extrapolate. So just we change just change in the value and then equation will remain the same over here. So extrapolation is not possible in any other model as such. So here what we are doing, just by changing the value for size of the organ and organ blood flow, we can get the distribution data for each organ individually, while for other organs new mathematical equation is to be made for each and every organ. So these are the three important advantages of physiological model over the other three models, and this was all about the pharmacokinetic compartment models. I hope you people understood the video. Thanks for